You're tuned in to Shake, Rattle, and Goal, the official podcast of your Springfield Thunderbirds.
Becca's there on the backhand, scoring the save, rebound in the crease, they score!
Hosted by Matt Baker and Steve Forney. A show that's everything Springfield hockey, with interviews including players, coaches, and staff.
The Springfield Indians repeat as the Calder Cup champions.
Listen to this podcast on all major streaming platforms and wherever you download podcasts.
In his first year at the helm, Kevin McDonald and Drew Bannister have the Teamers in the Calder Cup Finals.
Watch the podcast on the official Shake, Rattle, and Goal YouTube page at SRG Podcast. And now, here are your hosts, Matt Baker and Steve Forney.
In this episode number 10 of Season 3, the Shake, Rattle, and Goal podcast is proudly brought to you by our friends at the TDS Center for Communication and Social Learning in Amherst. You can visit them at tdsspeech.com. By our friends at MassCon United Training Center in Agawam at mcutrainingcenter.com. And by the fine folks at Landscaping That Fits. Remember, you have till the end of December. Give them a call or the website SRG20 gets you 20% off your lawn fertilizer for the entire 2026 alongside Matt Baker. I'm Steve Forney. Matt, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. How about you guys?
I feel like we're both like not disheveled. What's the word? I mean, it's December. It's cold. It's the holidays. We're teachers. We're just
we hit the grind. I don't know. This is how today's episode is going to go, I guess. We're just in that, like, every weekend I got multiple basketball games I'm coaching. I got multiple holiday parties and birthday parties that we're going to. It's just like when you have a minute to decompress and come into your basement to do an hour-long podcast, you're like, like this is like the first time since last episode where I've been like quiet around me and I can breathe.
Your time. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
We're coming to you on a Tuesday. Lots to get to. I don't know if Tuesday is going to be the new norm, but we've been noticing a lot of the news seems to break on Tuesdays. And then when we record Monday, we're like, we missed that. So I'm kind of glad we did because there is a lot to get to. I'm not sure where you want to start, Matt, because we do have a jam-packed show. We're going to be moving fast, people. So you got to stay with us because there's so much stuff to get to.
Yeah. I guess let's just start with, we will get into we'll try to get through everything, and we're gonna try to blow through this, get to fan rants. We've got new matchups that we want to get to with our GOAT T-Bird. But rosters have been disheveled, both in the AHL and in the NHL. Right now, in the NHL, you've got Kyrou with a lower body injury. He's definitely out their next game. This is according to their injury report that I said, but no definitive timetable yet for Kyrou. You got Torpchenko, leg injury, on the IR. Not really a timetable for his return. We know how hockey does this, and we've talked about the frustrations when you're trying to do a podcast or even just as a fan, right? We want to see when our boys are coming back. Walker, upper body. He's designated for IR. Will be reevaluated in 8 weeks. I think how that works just basically means if in 8 weeks they can retro his IR kind of thing. So basically it's just a roster term used to be able to pull more people up and not eat up his IR time right now. But in 8 weeks, he could be reevaluated and then it could be retroed, the IR, but that doesn't sound good. And Snuggerud, with a wrist injury, he's on the IR with no definitive timetable for return. So we're not talking necessarily about, fourth line guys or players who are your one a week kind of spot starts. We're talking about guys who had very clear, definitive, important roles on the Blues. That being said, someone's got to fill these roster spots. Welcome to your St. Louis Thunderbird edition. We got Kaskamaki up, Luff is up, and just this morning, Hugh McGing gets his call up. So happy for Hugh McGing.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about and we've compared him to a guy like Walker. Is he a guy who is just going to be grit and grind and be that sort of a fourth line guy for you? Absolutely. Not a rookie in the NHL. He has, I think, 2 or 3 NHL starts under his belt from a few years ago, but happy for Hugh McGing. And I just looking at our Thunderbird roster, I think it's fair. This is just going to be, it's going to be this kind of season. I mean, we've talked about it. It takes time to mesh. And for me, right, the frustration in the how the season started was just that you're like, this is a team that should have already meshed. And you wanted to kind of have them hit the ground running. Now you have key guys for the Thunderbirds up, and bringing in a lot of new additions. Akil Thomas yet to play. Kevin Wall signed to a PTO. He had 2 games over the weekend, and Dillon Dube. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that in detail in a little bit. But now you're kind of like, all right, now it is realistic to expect a little bit of an overhaul, or not overhaul, that's the wrong word, but there's going to have to be some sort of transition period now for these guys are going to have to play significant roles on this team, and they have to adjust. So, this is the hard part of why you don't want to get off to a slow start in the season, because it doesn't allow for these kind of things. The T-Birds have to continue playing, 3-4 point weeks just to climb back into a playoff spot. They don't have time to readjust.
Yeah, the nice thing about the schedule for them in this is that one game this weekend, Saturday the 13th, then you play Wednesday the 17th, then you don't play again until Saturday the 20th. So realistically, between now and 11 days from now, you play 3 games. So that's not, and one of them is against Utica, is the worst team in the league.
Right.
So, well, one of. So, you do have time this week to kind of figure it out and practice and get sort of your ducks in a row. And I think the problem, though, is that looking at the injuries in St. Louis, is that I just don't think that you're going to be getting guys back anytime soon.
I agree.
And if you do, it's going to be like, okay, well, Hugh McGinn comes down, but then they pull up Stenberg, or Kaskamaki goes down, but then they call up somebody else. So
right.
they're going to be putting the frequent flyer miles on. If you're not getting guys back immediately, you're going to be racking up the miles. So the good news is that, like I said, there's time. The bad news is that in the meantime, you got to be pulling people from anywhere you can find them. I think Boomer was actually down at Amelia Park scouting at a family skate on Sunday just to see if there was any potential there. So that's sort of where you're at. And the nice thing is that you were still in that spot this weekend. Granted, you had Hugh McGinn, but you pulled 3 points out of the weekend despite all that. And, Sam Stang and who's the other guy with the short name there? I can never think of his name. The big dude, Jet Jones. And those guys were emergency call-ups, and it feels like they've been here for months, and they're kind of now becoming regulars in the lineup. So, right. And now you're bringing in Kevin Wall. And so we'll see how this kind of all shakes out. The nice thing, knock on wood, is that at least your defense isn't really getting as demolished as your offense is. So there is some consistency in the back end. You're still repping the 2 goalies. So the good news is there's at least a little bit of stability there, but the forward group is kind of sort of struggling at the moment in terms of healthy bodies.
100% right. And I think that's a fair point. Excuse me, you bring up, as far as just expect this to be a revolving door. None of these injuries that I mentioned earlier from St. Louis are like, hey, they'll be back in a week or day-to-day kind of thing. They are long haul injuries, and typically when that happens in the AHL, and I mean this to no disrespect to Kaskamaki, Luff, or McGinn, they're not long haulers in the NHL. They're kind of meant to fill the void, and then because what the NHL clubs are doing now is, all right, let's use this as an opportunity to really put eyes on Stenberg. Stützle coming off a hat trick. Let's put eyes on him. Not with any real significant game implications necessarily in their mind. Hey, we just want to see him. So guys are going to come up and down. And I kind of expect that for the rest of the season. And then that's not a great thing for a team that's looking to climb back into a playoff spot. Every team, nobody's going to make an excuse, and every team has to absolutely deal with this. But if you're the Providence Bruins and you have to deal with it, you have some wiggle room right now. That's just not something that the Thunderbirds have afforded to them at the moment. So,
yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I don't want anybody to really get their hopes up. I'm looking at a full roster, pending everybody down here stays healthy. I don't know, Valentine's Day. I mean, maybe it might literally be that long until you get your guys back. And the nice thing is that at least looking at tonight, a Tuesday, I'm glad the game is they're playing the Bruins because I can actually watch the game on Nesson and I'll have sound, which is nice. So I'll be able to, Koskamaki and Luff are on the bottom pairing. Dvorsky's obviously playing.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be able to get a view. I don't believe I saw McGing on the lineup for Tuesday night's game, but at least we get a good look at, some of our guys and what's going on up there. And, this is why you do this. Like I was looking at the Bruins roster and I'm looking at guys like Tufty and Lizell and Merkelov and Patra and all these guys and DiPietro, all these. I'm watching Brandon Bussey out. Do you see what Brandon Bussey's doing in Carolina right now? He's just absolutely setting the NHL on fire at Carolina, and Bruins are sitting there with Corpusalo, and it's like they just refuse to call any of these guys up and make the next step. And meanwhile, I look at St. Louis rosters with Kessel and Tucker and Dvorsky and Nathan Walker. I know is out, and Torpo, and it's like we're doing it right, as an organization. We're grooming these guys, get them up, and they're playing NHL minutes. So the nice thing for St. Louis is that there is some quality guys coming out of Springfield to help that team out at the NHL level, which is nice. So we'll sort of see how that all shakes out here for the next at least a little while. I'm not sure what it's even going to look like at Christmas, but we'll sort of figure that out.
We'll be taking this one podcast episode at a time because I really, I'm with you there.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I was out of town Sunday. I did not get to catch the game. I was very excited to come home and watch it Sunday night. But if you think that I'm going to sit there and watch a hockey game on mute with no audio, you are nuts.
Do we want to pause this though? Do we want to get into just with new ads onto this team and talk Dillon Dube real quick?
Sure.
Real quick, and then because I
wanted to poke the bear a little bit on that one. So
bear is poked. So yes, news came out this afternoon, and maybe this is our new recording day. Dillon Dube, I think it's with the Dube, was just signed to Springfield Thunderbirds
allegedly. I don't know if it's been officially signed, but it's looking like that is
looking that and maybe that's sort of like what they do is they maybe tease this out here to see reaction see if it's going to become official or not. But it also, so what it's rumored to be, and from what I've found, is an AHL deal. So it's not really a St. Louis Blues thing. But I'm not sure how that works, if they still kind of have to okay it as a parent club, or if that, I don't know. I don't exactly know. But for those of you who are unaware, Dillon Dube was one of the 5 hockey players.
Canadian junior team.
Yep. The Canadian junior team, that were accused of sexual assault back in 2018. So obviously this is a controversial signing, a emotional signing. And so I will share my opinion, but I also want to just say, like, I get the sensitivity around this, right? And I can understand some of the negativity. I can understand some of the angst, I don't know all the listeners. I don't know your stories, right? So I can imagine. I get it all. For me, though, he's now 27. So he was 19, 20, if I do the math correctly, when the alleged sexual assault had taken place. Throughout the entire legal process, maintained his innocence and was acquitted of the charges. So I try to have a perspective or an opinion on this, and for the most part, I try not to waver based on just individual situations. As a whole, right? I believe in people for second chances. People can change, and based on the facts that I am aware of, I don't necessarily have a huge issue with him getting an opportunity to play. He, in front of a judge, was acquitted. I try to have faith in our judicial system. I realize that's hard at times, and there are some times that I question it 100%, but it's hard when a few weeks ago we're cheering for Milan Lucic to be like, well, not this guy. So I am okay with it. I am also okay if you as a fan don't want to cheer for him, that's fine. Like I'm not going to pressure you to cheer for the guy, but he wasn't found to do anything wrong. I hear the argument. He put himself in a bad spot, and I get that. Kid's 19 at the time. I put myself into a lot of bad spots at 19, 20. I was just, and let me take a step, right? Never to the extent of being,
of course,
charged with sexual assault. And I'm not for 1 second defending sexual assault as an okay thing, but we've all been 19 and 20. And I actually was having this conversation with a friend the other day where it's like, when did we grow up? I was talking to an old college friend. And it's like, when did we grow up? And for me, it was like when I did get married and have children. That's when I became an adult. And if I look at things that I did prior to being a husband and being a dad and the choices that I made when I really only had to think about myself, you look at life in a whole nother prism. So I am willing to say that, yes, a 19, 20-year-old put himself in a bad spot. Like I think we could all agree to that. But this player maintained his innocence, and a judge heard the facts and heard the stories and heard everything that he needed to hear and acquitted this individual. So for me, that's kind of good enough, I guess, if that makes sense, and willing to give the kid a chance. Like, because you were in the wrong place, wrong time, or put yourself in a bad spot should not ruin your life, should not ruin you. Because again, me at 19, me at 20, me at 25 is a lot different than me right now at 41. So that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I'm for me the big thing is just working in public relations for a long time. Logan Mailloux doesn't have the prettiest past. You mentioned Lucic. Now this guy, that's a lot for your public relations firm to handle. That's a lot of dealing with blowback. And I saw the comments, and there was a lot of negativity on there, and so there is that. Again, you mentioned the judicial system. This is the Canadian judicial system. I don't know what they got going on up there. And I got to be honest, I haven't really kept up much with the case. I've just been sort of on the fringes of it as this has been going on. So I'm not fully in depth as to what actually happened in the timeline and the people involved and everything else. I do know that one of the other guys that was part of this 5-person group has already signed and is currently playing, I believe, with Henderson. So he's not the first one to do it, and you're not on your own. I personally like the comeback stories where they are, if there is wrongdoing, held accountable. The story of Michael Vick is, to me, the best one, where he did some horrible things, went to jail, paid his debt to society, came out a completely different person, went back to playing football. That is a wonderful story, obviously not the way it started, but the way that it ended, right?
Yep.
I think that hockey fans are sort of blessed with the fact that this kind of stuff and these kind of things do not really happen in this sport.
Mhm.
And, I remember when the Bruins signed Mitch Miller and the blowback, I couldn't open social media, the blowback from Bruins fans. How could you sign this guy? Don't you know what he did? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, eventually I'm like, guys, did he kill 5 people? Like, what did he do? Like, I don't even know what he did. What did he do? And it's like, because it doesn't happen often. And the Bruins, as you kind of mentioned at the beginning, the Bruins looked at the fan reaction and said, oh, like crap, what are we going to do? We got to get rid of this guy. How do we dump him? So that's why I think you're kind of right, where they're like, they were showing interest in this player. What do you think, fan? What do you think, general public? And they're going to throw it out there. And if the return isn't great, then they're probably not going to bother. And if the return is quieter, then maybe they do make the move. So I think they learned a little bit of that from the Bruins. But I mean, look, nobody's perfect. All right. And I'm watching Rashee Rice catch passes from Patrick Mahomes after serving a 6-game suspension for something. It hit his wife. I don't know what he did. It was something
vehicular. I think
vehicular
he was manslaughter or something like that.
Yeah. We watched Antonio Brown. Who was that guy? Greg Hardy, who every week it was something else in the NFL. John Morant in the NBA flashing a gun on social media, just being a clown. I don't even have to get into Aaron Hernandez, right? So like hockey fans, people are lucky that we don't have the sort of misconduct off the ice that you get in other sports. So I do think it's important to sort of put it into perspective. I would consider myself a conspiracy theorist in the most part. I just don't believe the government 100%. I don't think they're nailing it. I don't think they're batting 1,000, if you know what I'm saying. So, but at the same time, if the judge acquits him, the judge acquits him. What I could sit here and bang the table and it's like, well, they paid him off or something. I don't know. So if he got acquitted, and I mean, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. That was legit too, right?
Yeah. The only thing I'll add, and I agree with what you said. I think you said it probably better than I did. For me, like, and this is if a fan was like, hey, how should I? However you feel,
yes,
feel that way.
Yep.
And just if you are supporting this, for me, I try not to make it, well, I'll cheer for him if he scores a goal, but if he plays bad, I'm going to boo him. Like, to me, and I realize sometimes from a team, like the business side of it, it's like, well, how much is the headache worth? It's worth the headache. If you're out there and you're going to score, get me a 1.5 a game, it's worth the headache. But if you're coming out there, but as a fan, like, it's okay if you don't want to cheer for every player, that's fine, for whatever reason. But just stay true to yourself, I mean, and
if you're one of those people who's like, nope, I don't want him in Springfield. Nope, I don't want this kind of guy in Springfield. That's fine. You're more than happy to feel that way. If Springfield doesn't sign him and Hartford does, and he scores 11 points in his first 10 games with the Wolfpack, how are you going to feel?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question. That's between you and yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And your moral compass. I mean, you, Matt, you, the people.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
So that's going to depend on your moral compass. And that could very well happen. If you're unsure about it and the guy comes here and gets 11 points in his first 10 games, is that going to change your perspective? I don't know. But there has been, seems like one too many of these this year of this, I don't know, just this sort of variety. At the same time, I only have to go off of what has been decided in the court of law, and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and by the way, Springfield, you're kind of desperate.
Yeah.
We talked about the roster. It's slim pickings. I mean, you got to, like I said, you got to find something somewhere, and this is maybe the direction that they're looking. And like I said, if you don't give them a shot, somebody else is going to. And if it works out for them and not you, then you're standing there.
You're going to coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Interesting. We'll see how this all shakes out the rest of the week. Again, release tomorrow. Who knows tomorrow brings? He could be signed. He could be gone.
Yeah.
We'll never know. We don't know at this time, but something to keep our eye on. And again, puts us right back in the news, Matt. Right. Back in the news.
Is it true that all publicity is good publicity? I guess we'll find out. Right.
Yeah.
But
you never know. I mean, that could be one of those things where his first game, you're getting national Canadian media there. And it's being talked about and followed, and maybe you, Matt, or the fans out there, would it feel differently if they signed him, right? Let's say they signed him tomorrow. He immediately holds a press conference and talks about his perspective of the situation, and he sounds sincere and legitimate, or does not even have to do that in your eyes?
For me personally, to me that never hurts.
Because Lucic did that, and I thought it helped his case.
I am one who I believe in communication, and if you communicate, and if you're honest, and if you're being true to who you are, at the end of the day, again, like, boo them or cheer them, but you know what you're getting. Now, if you ask my brother that question, who's a lawyer, he would tell you, don't go up there and talk. What does he have to talk about?
Right.
So that's me personally, yes. But do you run the risk of saying something, misspeaking, stumbling on a word or two? Granted, Springfield Thunderbird media, aside from us and Ryan, is us and Ryan. I'm not trying to. You're not talking about the Boston Bruin press conference, right? So, but it would be covered. But I don't ever think honest communication is a bad thing. Again, you ask my brother, he would tell you he was
don't
acquitted.
Say a word.
What do you have to say? Because anything you say, the people who already are negative on you are just going to say, well, he must have done it, because what is he apologizing for?
Those people you're never going to win over no matter what you say.
Right. So, I don't know if that totally answered your question. I'm not trying to skate over it, but
it's fair. That's why I don't get into politics, because it doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
If somebody's dug in, it doesn't matter what you say to them. They're not going to
agree.
So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So that's a good point there. So yeah, we'll see how that all shakes out. Anything else roster wise you wanted to get to before we
get into more positive news of Flow hockey?
Yes.
Yeah. I guess let's just go there. Okay.
Go ahead, Matt. I'll go take a shower or something. I'll come back.
You take a break. You come back, turn your camera off. This is ridiculous, folks. I'm sorry. I don't want to make a mountain out of a mole hole or molehill, whatever it's called. But you have families, people. You're spending. This is not a $15 subscription, and you've said it before. This is a professional hockey league, the second highest professional hockey league in the United States. It is unacceptable in North America. It is unacceptable to not have an audio feed. It is unacceptable to not have the away feed. I still don't know why. Well, I know what their response is. Whatever. This is it's nonsense. There should be, if you're, for the amount of money that me included, right? The amount of money that we have to pay for a subscription for Flow Hockey, there shouldn't be, like, I should be getting ESPN quality. Like, that's just it. If I stream YouTube on my smart TV, it works.
It's probably more expensive than ESPN.
If I can't get these other subscriptions because I got to pay into Flow Hockey. And to me, it's just unacceptable. And whether it's on Flow Hockey's end or Flow Sports end, or if it's on the AHL end, I don't know. If it's on these individual clubs where they don't have access to something, fix it, change it. Flow Hockey, change your business plan so that if I want to spend $60 for home games only or away games only, or if I just want one team, I can get that. But to charge me for your entire library, and that's how you justify the price, you get an entire library of garbage. And I'm sorry, garbage. Because I watch my son is a lacrosse player, and we watch some lacrosse. And it's poor. It's Division III quality college lacrosse. I can kind of see it. It's a little grainy. I'm not, so I can give you credit where the AHL product looks better when you can watch it. but there should be no glitches for an entire weekend for me not to be able to watch a game, because Sunday's game, like, and the busy time of the year, I'm not trying to watch the games live. I can't. I got basketball games for one son. I got a Christmas party for this family. I've got errands to run for my own children. I can't sit down and watch the game live. So when I go back and I try to watch it and there's no sound, I can't plug in the radio and listen to it and try to time it up, which is what I shouldn't have to try to do for the amount of money that I'm paying. This is just unacceptable. And do I expect them to do anything about it? No, because this is the issues they have all the time. It's just it's a bad look, AHL, and I'm sorry. It's just bad. It's not good. I don't know. I
don't know what was wrong with what they had. AHL TV never really had any issues. It was really well presented and well done. And there are little things that like you mentioned, like I can't watch anything in real time. So like I'm always 20-25 minutes behind. So if I try to fast forward, it'll either bring me back to where I was or to bring me all the way back to the beginning. And now I have to fast forward an hour and a half, or even worse, X out of the app and go back into it.
Yep.
That is, again, as somebody who works in broadcasting, that just drives me bananas. And I think the only way to fight it, the only way that anybody can fight it, is that somebody needs to step up, like Cozy TV, and say, we're showing up with 3 cameras to every home game. We're going to be on channel 874 on Comcast cable, because cable is still number one. I don't care what the numbers say. You can futz around with your YouTube, ESPN Plus. You need 9 different apps to get NFL. You want to watch every NFL football game, you need like 12 apps.
Yeah.
It's freaking gross. It's gross. It's a money grab. All the streaming stuff is a money grab. That's all it is. They're all getting in bed with each other. They're all getting married to each other. Hulu's buying Disney, which is buying ESPN with TNT. Somebody just bought Warner. Netflix just bought Warner Brothers. Oh, great. Cool. Let me sign up for that app. Can't wait. YouTube TV just went up like $80 a month. Get out of here with that nonsense. We need somebody to step in with cable and say, we're going to Comcast. We'll be on direct TV. We're showing up with 3 cameras. If you want to watch it, we can guarantee you it'll be there and it'll have sound. That's the only way that this can stop, is cable companies and networks. Who owns Nexstar? Is that who owns WWLP? Nexstar.
Yeah.
Invest, hire people, hire sports people, hire camera people, and say, let's go. We're doing this. We're taking the initiative, and we're gonna send somebody to Wilkes-Barre and Hershey and Charlotte and Hartford, and we're gonna get these games on the air. And you know what? It'll work.
Yep.
And you could put it on your cute little app too. I bet that thing's gonna freeze too, because cable always works. And every football game I DVR it works. And then I fast forward and that works. And the sound, it works. It works every single time. So the app thing, Flow hockey aside, the app thing just drives me insane, and I can't wait for it all to come crashing down, because it is. I think 5 years from now, everybody's going to be back at Comcast on their knees begging to come back, because this app world we live in, streaming world we live in, sucks. It sucks from beginning to end. I can't stand it.
Yeah. No, listen here. I'm airing out all my gripes here, because and again, and we've talked about this last year. Part of my issue, part of my frustration is the price point. You're not offering me any packages. I can't just watch my team that I want to watch. I got to buy your whole library. Okay, great. Well, if I'm paying for that, I can't be at my friend's house on their Wi-Fi network and open up the app on my phone. It won't let me. It blocks me. Because I don't care. If I'm paying for it. If I give my friend a password and I want them to watch the game on my dime, then let them happen. Right? So I get aggravated that I can't watch. If I go to a friend's house over the weekend, I can't watch a game on my phone. Or what I've tried to do is open up the app on my friend's TV so my kids can watch the game. Can't even do that. So that frustrates me. Any other app, man, you could do it. You could figure out a way to do it, and they let you do it. Not Flow Sports.
I'll give you one. Can I give you one more quick one on top of that?
Yeah.
Disney has a new thing now. Because I used to connect in my classroom. I connect Bluetooth to my projector. Disney will not let you show on the projector if you're not HDMI into your laptop. because it thinks you're stealing or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm in a classroom and we want to watch Moana because it's the day before Thanksgiving and nobody's doing anything. Let me put freaking Moana on TV. It's ridiculous.
But for Friday night game in Hartford, I think, and it's all a blur to me. There's no sound. Sound's in and out, or
it was always unacceptable. The Hartford guy who does a great job, by the way. But yeah,
Saturday's game in Springfield, teddy bear toss, no issues. At least I didn't have any on the home broadcast. Sunday in Providence, there's not even an away option, and the home option has no sound. They have no graphics up. I have no idea. I have to guess what's going on. And again, I can't sit down on Sunday. This particular Sunday, I had 1.5 million things going on. Again, it just unacceptable. Unacceptable in my opinion. And I will say a fan shared this on our fan rant. If you want to look, you can see it for yourself. Commented that this individual did reach out to Flow Hockey, and their reasoning for not having the away broadcast was that this is what Flow Hockey responded, was that the away announcer did not attend the game. He was on the radio.
I was going to say, if he was on the radio, then he was there.
He was on the radio.
I'd have to follow.
I don't
Ryan.
know.
I haven't even asked Ryan, but
and if he wasn't, I don't have a gripe with that. It's not that I'm mad at Ryan for that. But he was on the radio, calling the game live on the radio.
Even if Ryan wasn't there, and I'm going to speak for Ryan, even though I shouldn't. If Ryan wasn't there, you would check his social media, and he would be saying, "I can't make the game tonight. Catch the game on Flow TV and stream the Hartford broadcast on this station channel app." He would have given all that, and he wouldn't have just ghosted the game and ghosted all the fans. That's not, unless something terrible happened, which I hope hasn't happened, Ryan. I hope you're okay, buddy. Because I don't think that's been the case. I think he's been tweeting since the game today, so I know he's alive and well. So he's too much of a professional to just ghost a game. So I find that really hard to believe that he wasn't there.
I kind of wanted to stop here because I don't want to speculate. But if that's a lie, Flow Hockey, again, unacceptable, borderline. I don't know. Just it's not a good product. I'm sorry, not a good product. And the AHL can do better. It was just fine on AHL TV. So again, was it perfect? No. But
for the price point, for
$50, $50, and I can just get the Springfield games. That's all I want. That's all I want. I thought, oh, maybe it would be cool if I could just sit down and watch the Cleveland Monsters play whoever. No, I don't. I don't have time. And if any of you do, great. Like maybe someday when I retire, I will. And then maybe I would want to buy the however much money I had to pay for this package. If I would want that, but I don't. I have no need for it. And it's not that hard to click a button on your algorithm and give me options as a paying customer. And if your product is crap, then you should give me options. That's it. I'm sorry, Flow Hockey. Your business model, in my opinion, sucks. The product, not good.
That's a good rant. Good rant there, Matt Baker. That was entertaining.
Steve, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thanks.
You took a nice little reprieve there, a little break. Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm all cleaned up now. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep piling on, but especially on a Sunday when you have the crunch time for the NFL.
Yeah.
And even if I was home with nothing to do, which I wasn't, I was up in Albany, New York. So even if I was at home, I would have been the guy watching the end of the Bills and the Ravens and the Steelers and all those other games. And then when the kids went to bed at 7:00, I'm sitting down and watching the Thunderbirds. And I tried to do it when I got back into town at 8, and I caught 3 minutes with no audio, and I'm like, well, this is not. Time is money. This is not how I'm spending my Sunday night.
For me, I'm fixing the faucet under my kitchen sink. I had to replace the faucet. My wife, I didn't even go. My kids had 2 soccer games Sunday. I didn't even go because that's how much I had. It's a crazy time of year, right? So I'm doing the sink, I'm folding laundry, I'm doing this, and I'm like, all right, 3:15, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to fold laundry, I'm going to put on the Thunderbirds game. And I would at least be able to hear it. And that's how I was going to spend the next 2 hours. The volume would be up and I'd be walking around getting all this other stuff done. Nope. And then once I realized this is my only option, no, I guess I'm watching football. So I do want to do this. I want to take a deep breath. A 3-3 where the T-Birds.
Here, do you want to hear from our sponsors first? Let's catch your breath.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do that. Well, let's do that real quick. That was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Not for blasting that particular organization. Just I love that kind of that kind of heat is just awesome.
I just got a text from Jill. She's upstairs. She goes, "Why do you sound so angry down there?" Sorry, Jill.
I mean, my computer is smoke coming out of it. That's what's happening at the moment. That wonderful segment and many more is brought to you by our friends at the TDS Center for Communications and Social Learning in Amherst. As innovators in the field of social programming and social emotional learning, the experienced therapists, which Matt needs, and staff development programs to meet your needs. Just kidding. They offer special programs giving students opportunities to become entrepreneurs within their own areas of interest, as well as hosting community-based learning opportunities all across Western Mass and the Pioneer Valley. Individual, small or big group sessions, whatever it is you're looking for, you can give them a call at 413-835-0735. Visit them at tdsspeech.com to learn more about them. By the fine folks at MassCon United Training Center, from beginners to pro, MCU Training Center is a one-stop shop to improve your game, whichever game that is, with the top local trainers and their knowledge, skills, and training to develop programs that will make you a better player no matter your skill level. The small player-to-coach ratio clinics allow them to focus on each individual athlete's needs. They are right in Agawam, right over the bridge from the Big E, that old Dave Soda Pet City plaza there. 413-301-6040. Visit mcutrainingscenter.com. And of course, the fan rants and really whatever we have going on, we love to incorporate our friends at Landscaping That Fits. Again, if you go to the website and you go to get a quote and you type in SRG20, you will be able to get 20% off of all of your landscaping needs for the entire 2026 calendar year. That's 20% off the entire year. But here's the catch. You only have until December 31st. So you're running out of time if you want to get this done. I can tell you from experience, it is totally worth it. Put something as important for your lawn as fertilizer in the hand of a professional. No more going to the box store and buying a bag or whatever it is. Let Rob handle it. Again, or give them a call, 413-847-0338, and tell them that you want the 20% off SRG20 and that you heard about it on the Shake, Rattle, and Gold podcast. You're tired of listening to me yell about it. So I don't know what's going to happen January 1st in terms of deals. So you want to get in on this now. Landscapingthatfits.com, promo code SRG20. Now again, we're going to talk here about the 3-3. I watched bits and pieces of Friday and I watched none of Saturday because I literally couldn't. But it seemed to get progressively better as the weekend went on. I can put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, look, when we broke down this weekend, Steve, you were right on for Jakob Stützle to point right on. We're on a 2-week heater.
We are.
If I'm just, so we'll see what happens moving forward. But you were spot on with him, and I was, I guess, dead wrong. Where I thought a Hartford Wolfpack game was the one to push you into the weekend with, back-to-back games against the best team in the AHL. They end up losing to Hartford in regulation. Not the best of games. And then Saturday's teddy bear toss. Congratulations, fans. Job well done. Front office, job well done. A sellout at the Thunderdome. And 8,048 teddy bears tossed onto the ice after Jakob Stützle's first goal. Those teddy bears will be delivered to families and children in need this holiday season. So just one of those things where you realize, it's bigger than hockey. It's bigger than flow hockey. It's bigger than everything else. So thank you, fans. Job well done. Front office, everybody on the ice collecting all those teddy bears. Awesome job. It's one of my favorite things to see in person or on TV, right? I've been to both. And just when you see any team, really, their teddy bear night, where you're just seeing mounds and waves of teddy bears being thrown onto ice. It's so cool, so nice. And then you end up losing. Go ahead.
Sorry, just real quick. I love the fact that it's like a 9-minute break in the action where everybody's sort of enjoying themselves. The players have fun picking them up. Stuart Skinner and Pekarchik are like pretending to take selfies with some of the bears. Zarenko's taking picture with the big teddy bear pools and spas guy. The referees are kind of joking around with us and having a good time. It's like everybody takes like a 9-minute break and just like it's like a kid again. You know, pro athletes in the middle of a game acting like kids for 9 minutes. So, I say 9. I think it was like 8 minutes and 11 seconds it took to clean
up.
There you go. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. That's 1,000 bears a minute, for crying out loud. So
what does the AHL allow you before there are penalties or anything like that?
I think they try to get it inside of like 11 to 13 minutes or something like that. The weird part about this was that the goal was scored. So to get too into it, but the TV timeouts are underneath 14 minutes, underneath 10 minutes, and underneath 6 minutes. And so, but it has to be an actual stoppage of play that's not an icing. So the goal was scored at like 5:43 or something like that. And so the ref asked me, he's like, can this just be the media timeout? And I said, honestly, why not? So I called upstairs. They said, sure, let's do it. Matthew Pekka came over. Hey, can we make this the media? The ref's like, I'm already on it, buddy. I'm already on it. So
perfect.
It just, the timing was kind of weird, but it did actually buy us a little bit more time if we needed it. So it was a little confusing, but yeah, no, these places all have, a pretty good system in place. I imagine when you're a place like Hershey and you're getting 40,000 bears, whatever their number is, it probably takes them a little while longer. But the system's put in place. Everybody, it's amazing to me how ready to go everybody was. You never know when that goal's going to come.
Right.
And it comes and boom, trucks are on the ice, shovels, and just, it was cool. It's fun. It's awesome.
It is. And so that, highlights of that game, Jakob Stunzel's hat trick, which is phenomenal. But the Thunderbirds end up losing in overtime 4-3 to the Providence Bruins. This is a team that really, I'm kind of surprised, struggles in the overtime shootout periods. They did last year as well. But this year, I don't think they have an overtime a win past regulation yet this year. I think whatever they're 0-3 or whatever in overtimes and 0-2 in the shootouts. So this team kind of struggles there, which is surprising. I tend to think youth, speed, when you open up the ice, can take over. And for some reason, though, the Thunderbirds just struggle in that extra period. But getting the big point there and then coming back Sunday on a 45 save game for Zarenko against Providence. We talked about this last year, which is why, I remember talking to you. Does Zarenko get a start game 1 in a 3-game series? Because he plays Providence well in Providence. He just does. For whatever reason, Providence cannot solve Vadim Zarenko in Providence. And 45 saves later, the Thunderbirds get a massive, massive win on Sunday. So they end the weekend 1-1-1, 3 points. I don't care how they come. That, to me, that if you told me last episode the Thunderbirds will go 1-1-1 with 3 points, I'd be like, yeah, I'd take that, considering you're going up against 2 with the best team in the AHL. So overall, I think a very, very productive, good weekend for the Thunderbirds.
And just a couple things. I know you mentioned Stützle. Nikita Sasuyev, 1 assist each game, 3 assists in the weekend. Good for him. Chris Wagner, an absolute animal, from what I can tell, 4 points in 3 games.
He might be the next call up to
Hunter Skinner. It's true. Hunter Skinner, Pekka, including the game on Sunday. Stützle had an assist there, so he had 4 points in 2 games. Sam Stang got on the score sheet. So really sort of spread everything out amongst the group in terms of production. And that, I think, is when you don't have Luff, when you're losing McGang, when you don't have Kaskamaki, it wrenches stuff. And Akil Thomas still isn't ready. He's got something going on. I think it's just an injury he's coming back from. I'm not positive about that. It's my guess. Because I did see him he's in the building. So you're going to need to spread the scoring around, and it's getting to places. It's getting to people like Sasuyev and Stützle, and that's what you really need. You better hope Pekka and Wagner and those guys are going to be there. But if you can get Stützle, Stenberg, Sasuyev, you can get those guys rolling, you're going to be in good shape. So production, Butch Bushinger in the back end, Skinner on the back end, like Lindstein was on the score sheet. So The more that Loof was on, had a couple assists at least. So the more that you get, the better off you're going to be. That to me is a signal of progression and getting better and not worse.
Yes, no, I agree. I think this team absolutely is tracking in the right direction. It's unfortunate that when they're starting to click, this is, not what you want from the parent club, needing all these call-ups. But hey, this is AHL hockey, and no one's going to make an excuse for it. But overall, I think this
I'm going to say one other thing about this weekend too. You go out and you lose on Friday in Hartford. You have your big teddy bear toss night, big emotional, guy gets a hat trick. Boom, you lose in a shootout. It would have been so easy for them to lay down, to just go to Providence, go through the motions, lay down, lose 6-1, and then move on. And they did the total opposite. They showed up ready to play, ready to go, and they come out with a win. And that to me says a lot about their character.
So I don't want to be Debbie Downer.
Granted, I didn't see the game Sunday.
So I didn't see it, couldn't hear it. If you look at the box score, and why won't, of course.
I got it here.
I mean, there's a reason why Vadim Zarenko needed 45 saves.
Outshot 20-4 in the third period. 15-2 in the first. Woof.
So I can't say you're wrong, but and fans, again, I didn't watch the game Sunday because I couldn't. But I don't know if they really did show up to play, or if Vadim Zarenko showed up to play.
Wouldn't take no for an answer.
Again, I have no context other than what the box score shows me, and they got smoked in the shots category. Now, I don't know what those shots looked like, where they came from, were they rebounds, I have no idea. So I have no context other than I'm just looking at the box score. So, but teams, you find a way to win, and that's what you need to do. And at this point now, you got to take them when you can get them. And since, in my opinion, sort of their low mark were those back-to-back losses in Bridgeport in early November. You lose 2-6, 6-2, and then you lose 6-1 the next night. To me, that was sort of the low point of the season. You beat Laval, you kind of get smoked by Lehigh Valley, but then you're starting to play better against the Penguins. You lose in overtime, and then they went on a 5-game point streak. So 5, 6, 7 of their last 8 games, they've gotten points. That's a good thing, right? So they're playing better. Again, I'll take it how I can get it, whether they played good or Vadim Zarenko just willed them to a victory, making 45 saves. I'll take it. But a good 3-3 for the T-Birds. All right, we're gonna have to crush these last few segments here.
Yeah, but we'll do it.
But we'll get it done.
Let's start with our fan poll from last week. Our second matchup of our favorite T-Bird the last 10 years. Dryden Hunt against Mackenzie McEachern. I thought there might be some recency bias here in this. Maybe that's what it is, but it was the case. Mackenzie McEachern kind of blowing out Dryden Hunt in that one. And again, different styles of player, so that is a big part of that too. But yeah, that was. I mean, what did I have? Did we have Mackenzie as the higher seed or Hunt?
No,
I had Hunt as the higher seed.
No, Dryden Hunt was our 3 seed. And look, what we were looking at was basically you had Dryden Hunt almost played double the amount of games as a T-Bird than Mackenzie McEachern did. He was a higher point per game than Mackenzie McEachern. So, I mean, it was justified with him as the higher seed. I agree with you. And my vote was for Mackenzie McEachern. Recency bias. I didn't really see Dryden Hunt play. I just was able to research.
Been here in 5 years. Yeah.
So can't tell you. My kids didn't know who he was. So who'd they vote for? Mackenzie McEachern.
Right.
So, and that's fair. But still, to make our list is a feat in and of itself. So congratulations, Dryden Hunt. Bigger congratulations to Mackenzie McEachern for moving on to the next round.
He's now going up against Pekka, I think, in the next round.
Yeah, that'll be that probably within like a month or two by the time we get to the second round. So now we're going to shift over to the other side of the bracket, and we're going to give you the first two matchups of our defensive goalie matchup. This is our number 1 seed defenseman, your captain, Tommy Cross, against the number 8 seed, your goalie, Charlie Lindgren. Or should I say Washington's goalie? Is that fair? No, it's a Thunderbird. It's a T-Bird.
He was.
T-Bird bracket. So he was. So there you go. Tommy Cross versus Charlie Lindgren. I will run through this kind of quickly. We don't have a whole lot of time. Tommy Cross, 3 years a T-Bird, 2 years as your captain, was the captain during that Calder Cup run. Again, as a T-Bird, ironically enough, during that Calder Cup run, a -12, but playing a lot of minutes, right? 67 games played, 29 points scored. But you see it, I don't know if you miss it now, but you just saw his leadership and there was a sense of calm when he was on the ice. Charlie Lindgren, just that one season with the Thunderbirds, 34 games played, a 2.21 goals against, and a 9.25 save percentage. He had a 24-7-1 record that season for your Springfield Thunderbirds. And really, to start the Calder Cup playoffs, he was up in St. Louis for the St. Louis Blues playoff run. And once they got eliminated, Charlie Lindgren was sent back down. And I think nothing against Joel Hofer, but Hofer had started the playoffs fantastic. He got the goalie goal, right? And he's forever etched in history there. But Charlie Lindgren really shoring up or was the man between the pipes there to bring him to the Calder Cup champion. So I can't really get into all the numbers with the time we have, but Tommy Cross versus Charlie Lindgren.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, this is a good one. This is a good one. And they played at the same time. So I think a lot of our fans will remember these two players. Look for the poll on Facebook, look for the post on Instagram and Spotify as well. I'm going to keep doing it the way I've been doing it with the images. Again, make your comments if you want, but we're not going to count those as the votes. Right. We're going to count the polls as the votes. So Tommy Cross, your number 1 seed, Charlie Lindgren, your 8 seed.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, we'll revisit that next week. We'll try to get some graphics. By the way, the graphics, if you're seeing, are designed by my students. These are made awesome. By juniors, seniors in high school that are also, some of them interning they're on the ice with their cameras, interning with the Thunderbirds. Thanks to the team for giving my kids a shot. But just awesome graphics by Jake and Owen McIsaac, the twin brothers that I have in my school. So yeah, thanks to those guys. Thanks to you guys for voting, and spread the word. Like the more you people vote, the more you get other people to vote, the more accurate I think it is. So we'll try to keep that going.
Yep.
I mentioned it briefly, but just looking ahead towards the schedule, heading in here, it gets kind of quiet. It figures, right, as the team's starting to play a little better, it gets a little quiet. They're not home again till after Christmas, which threw me for a loop because I have this ugly Christmas jacket I always wear, and I didn't wear it to the Teddy Bear Toss because I just assumed there was another game at home between now and Christmas, and there is not. Check the schedule, Stevie. Jeez.
Wear New Year's Eve. It still fits.
Yeah.
It'll still fit. Yeah.
I'm going to get my money's worth out of that thing. It was a cheap suit, but I'm still getting my money's worth out of it. So Saturday, the 13th, they are at Utica. Remember, that is a 6:00 start, which I love, Matt. I can't tell you these Saturday games. I look at the clock and I'm just like, this is the greatest thing ever. Yeah. And then midweek game. Hopefully we can watch it. Hopefully, December 17th, 7:05 at Lehigh Valley. And then this is where I think it gets a little bit tricky because they have to go from Lehigh Valley down to Charlotte by Saturday. So I assume they're flying out of Pennsylvania directly to Charlotte for a game Saturday, Sunday. So a light weekend here, but then it really picks up with Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, all away games, Lehigh Valley 2 against Charlotte. That could be a tough little 3-game stretch there, which I think we'll be able to break down a little bit as well next week in the show, but just, sort of looking at what it's going to look like the next 4 games.
This is a tough little stretch. I mean, after the Utica game, you're playing 8 games in a row against divisional opponents, and they're the Bruins, the Islanders, and the Checkers, and Lehigh Valley. So you have multiple games against all of those teams except for Lehigh Valley in those 8 games. So it's a tough stretch. And we will see. I hope the spacing out of games is a good thing for this new team, especially with all the new ads in the roster. But I wonder, and we'll see. Sometimes you gel playing a game, right? Practice is practice. You need to go up against an opponent. The games are faster, right? So the coaches, I'm sure will like to see all this practice time and get eyes on the players and rest up any injuries that there may be, because they're going to need to be full steam ahead heading into January. But having these games spread out, I kind of almost wish they had another 3-3. So you can get these guys, you can get Akil Thomas, get him healthy and get him on the ice. You can get Kevin Wall and Dillon Dube if he does sign. Get these guys playing. Don't rip the Band-Aid off. Get them playing. See how they gel with the guys. And it's one of the reasons why Coach Konowalchuk has not been able to really. He puts his lines in a blender every night, and he goes off of what he sees. But it's tough to get consistency there.
Yeah, and especially, I know you mentioned it briefly, but the banged up guys. I mean, if there's something bothering Akil Thomas, if that's why he hasn't played yet, then good. Give him some time to get it together. I did it last week and it worked, so I guess I'll try it again. Saturday, my player to watch will be Nikita Sasuyev. I want to see if he can keep this going. And heading into that 3-game road trip, I want to see what Akil Thomas has got. I want to see. I got a good feeling. I'm feeling good about this Akil Thomas trade, and I just want to see what style of player, who he gels with. Like you said, Matt, this is going to be a perfect opportunity for everybody to kind of work together and figure out what works, what gels, what vibes. I wouldn't really touch the power play and the penalty kill very much because they have been good
working, right?
But that 5-on-5, I think, to me, is where they really need the most cohesion, and this should give them a real opportunity to kind of put all that together. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking. I had new guys and goaltenders coming off a 45 save game. How does Zarenko back that up, and does that motivate a Georgi Romanov? I don't think either one of them really have been playing poorly. I think for the most part they've kind of been strength of the team, dealing with considering what's been going on in front of them at times. But these new guys, I want to see how they gel. And that does not necessarily mean I need points out of a Kevin Wall or an Akil Thomas right away. But are you doing the little things? We at the beginning of the season when Chris Wagner wasn't really scoring points, but he was doing things to get involved. He was staying engaged. He was, sticking up for teammates and getting into fights. Are these new guys going to buy in? And because that's what they need right now. You maybe traded away a player who wasn't all in. Are you getting a player back who is all in? To me, that would be huge, just to be all in, to see energy and speed and hustle from red line to red line. That's what I want to see. So these new guys, how do they gel? Are they all in? And the goaltenders, does a 45 save game propel them to, hey, look what I can do? Hold my beer, so to speak, right? So that's kind of where I'm watching.
By the way, 2 games played, 1 goal +1 for Nikita Alexandrov for the Ontario Reign. Just keeping you guys abreast of that situation. Again, I'm all in favor of the trade, but just to be fair, I'm throwing it out there. We want to thank you guys as always for listening, tuning in, being involved, saying hi in the concourse, just being involved in what me and Matt are trying to do here, and being patient with us while we get out our frustration on certain things. It means a lot. Want to thank our friends at the TDS Center for Communications and Social Learning, tdsspeech.com, MassCon United Training Center in Agawam, mcutrainingcenter.com, and of course, Landscaping That Fits, landscapingthatfits.com, promo code SRG20 for 20% off your entire fertilizing for the year 2026. Thank you so much to those guys as well.
Yes, thank you to our fans, our sponsors. We didn't read any fan rants this
week.
We
didn't.
That's
I
my
totally
fault.
Forgot.
Yeah, that's my fault. I ranted too long. I will say this.
It was a good rant. You had your fan rant.
I did. So I apologize for that. We love them. Keep them coming. And there were a few comments on the fan rants of like how people are relieved that our page is positivity, right? People come there to be positive. And so we appreciate that. We love it. Keep commenting. We'll bring Fan Rants back next week. Make sure vote on our polls. We got Tommy Cross versus Charlie Lindgren this week. But again, we appreciate it. Thank you. Send your emails to Flow Hockey if you so wish. And tune in next week for more positivity after the T-Birds beat Utica. Let's go T-Birds.